All right, so we're back.
I believe so, yes.
We actually didn't go anywhere because we had a pretty bad thunderstorm last night, so I don't think either of us left the condo, but that's neither here nor
But we're
there.
back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're doing another car comparison.
Car versus, well, car.
Yeah, and in this case, it makes sense. We're not doing SUVs. We're doing actual sedans.
We're doing what I taught my children when they were young. I taught them to dream, and when you dream, dream big. So we're dreaming big with this one today.
Yeah, so we're doing luxury sedans. I mean, like the top of the line cars that neither of us can afford.
because it just represents such a large market.
Huge market.
Huge.
The views on this are through the roof.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to break today's car versus car comparison into a few different categories. So we're going to do, we wrote it down so we wouldn't forget. We're going to do performance-related things. That'll be relatively quick because it's not like we can drive either of them, any of them. Affordability, which we'll talk about that 5-year cost of ownership.
Yeah, because this is really going to make a whole lot of sense, yeah.
Well, affordability relative to one another.
Affordability for millionaires. Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about negotiability, so that's when we'll get into market.
Because that's how the millionaires got all their money. They know how to negotiate.
We'll talk about market day supply and things like that.
Yeah.
Then we'll get into safety, reliability, and then ultimately, my father and I will make a pick as to which one we think is the one. The Your Auto Advocate approved ultra luxury sedan.
Yes, that's what we're working on today, folks, because, well, who would just work on, like, Hyundais again?
All right, so let's start that. Let's start with performance. So we've got the comparison between, we're doing the A8, the Audi A8.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Mercedes Benz
S-Class.
Yeah, the S560 is where we'll focus our attention.
Okay.
And the BMW 7 Series.
Okay.
All right, so in terms of performance, we pulled up here because, we can't drive these. We pulled up
we could. We just don't have the opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Consumer Reports does all of their different tests and things like that, and what they find in terms of performance.
Well, it depends on what part of the performance is.
What part of performance do you care most about? Because I'm kind of curious to see.
For me, it's always been that 0 to 30 speed, because it normally takes me about a week and a half to get from 0 to 30. But in these cars, in ultra luxury cars, the quickest, believe it or not, from 0 to 30, at 2.3 seconds, is the Mercedes Benz S-Class. And the Audi A8 and the BMW 7 Series pull up the rear at a tenth of a second slower from 0 to 30.
I appreciate your interest in the 0 to 30 time, because I think the industry standard is 0 to 60, but you've always labeled yourself as being different.
Only because I am. I think that started in grade school when they labeled me as being different. Yeah.
Different times. Okay, but 0 to 60.
Really, Mr. and Mrs. Shefska, we think Ray should repeat first grade.
Yeah, that did happen.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, but the S-Class does have the quickest 0 to 60 time and also the quickest quarter mile. And it's not actually even that close. I mean, it is in the quarter mile, but the Mercedes-Benz is the fastest car.
Yes, it's the fastest car at the end of the quarter mile. It's the fastest car to get to the quarter mile. But the good news is that every last one of these vehicles will get you to at least a little over 100 miles an hour in a quarter of a mile.
Yeah, which is pretty insane, in all honesty.
Well, you consider...
As two people who have never really driven super performance vehicle. Well, you drove an NSX once, so I shouldn't...
Yeah, speak for yourself.
Okay, as someone who hasn't driven a super performance vehicle.
Yeah.
And the Mercedes, I will mention the trim levels of these. Mercedes makes an S63 and an S65, which have, I'm looking at it, 603 and 621 horsepower respectively, which the only one, like Audi does not have an option. The S8 is not nearly as powerful. And BMW has, I think, the Alpina B7, which is like their super performance one, which still isn't even there in terms of, I think it's about 600 horsepower. So if you want performance, if you want performance
at a price,
at a price, that's for sure. If you want performance at a price, Mercedes, then probably BMW, then the Audi, All right, so then let's get into our favorite thing, which would be affordability.
Really?
And so in terms of affordability, I printed this out for you, Dad.
Yes.
We have our 5-year cost of ownership. Do you want to run us through that?
The 5-year cost of ownership, we have that?
Yeah, I put it right there.
5-year cost of ownership. Well, every last one of these is very, very reasonable. Let's start with the Audi. And the Audi and the average MSRP on an Audi is between 85 to 129.5.
And that's ranging from that A8 to the S8. And
To
someday they'll make an RS8,
Yeah.
but they don't yet.
So the 5-year cost of ownership is just $96,746. Okay, so just a tad under, right around $19,000 a year.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy that your cost of ownership is more than the MSRP of the vehicle?
It is an Audi.
That is insane.
Yes. Now, on the Mercedes, let's do the BMW second.
I
The
like
BMW, the 7 Series, their MSRP runs anywhere from 86,450 to 157,700. Trust me, I've seen them higher because the owner I used to work for used to drive around on a personalized one, and it was like 175 grand.
Yeah, they make that M750i or something like that.
Individual.
Yeah.
And so the average cost of ownership of the BMW 7 Series is just $97,987. Okay, a little over 19 grand a year, and you know you're living large and enjoying your BMW. But if you really want to show your friends that you have money to burn, okay, you'd get yourself that S class. You know, the MSRPs on those run anywhere from 94,250 to just a mere 235,600.
The $250,000 is for that S65 variant.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, the AMG.
And the typical 5-year cost of ownership is just, well, it's $70 short of $108,000.
Holy shit.
Okay, so that's what, 200 and almost 206, almost 20,000,
$20,600.
$21,000 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little over that. 21.5, something like that. Oh my God. Just so you can say, hey, my ass is sitting in an S-Class Benz, fellas.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
So in terms of affordability, and you know from your experience, you worked for the BMW brand. You've worked for all 3 of these brands before at one point in time.
I did.
Yeah, you've worked for Audi, you've worked for BMW through Mini, and you've worked for Mercedes Benz for a short period of time. In terms of, you know, we have the KBB cost of ownership, but I'm curious, maintaining these vehicles and repairs, they're all similar? Or, I mean, Audi, I think, would be the cheapest out of the 3.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Really? They're all expensive.
Here's the deal. If you can afford the A8, an S-Class, or a 7 Series, well, then you can afford, at least in the manufacturer's minds, to overpay to maintain them. And the beauty of it is, well, you will. It's just that simple.
That's how the math checks out.
It's just, you know, two and two is like, okay, it's $2,000 for your oil change or something along those lines.
Wow.
It's just crazy. The expense to maintain these vehicles. But the theory is that, well, if you can afford one of these cars, then you wouldn't be buying one if you couldn't afford the upkeep and you couldn't afford what it takes to maintain it. So it's like us being at the Jersey Shore. You know, all the houses right on the beach aren't owned by people that will live here full time. They're owned by the people that live elsewhere full time and just come here for the summer. So if you can afford to spend, I don't know, $2.5–3 million for your beachfront home, then you can afford to spend $100,000 a year in your real estate taxes. If you can afford, when you're driving to that $3 million beachfront home, to do it in your S-Class, you can afford, well, the $100,000, $108,000 it's going to cost you to keep that car for 5 years.
So in terms of affordability, when comparing them across one another,
They're
all expensive.
Yeah, none of them are affordable. But the good news is, for people that have money, they're eminently affordable.
All right, so affordability is a push between the 3 of them.
Affordability doesn't apply to, I don't know, everyday folks.
Yeah, no, I understand.
But for the 1%, the upper crust, trust me, they're eminently affordable.
All right, so now let's move into negotiability. So
Yes.
this is where we're pulling in market day supply.
Yes.
And then, you know, obviously other factors go into how negotiable something is, but market day supply is a good place to start.
Yes.
So when we think about market day supply, let's start, I guess, with the Audi. How many Audi dealerships are there? And then, what's the market day supply? How many have been sold recently? How many are in stock?
I don't know how many Audi dealerships were there.
I
308?
wrote it for you.
Oh, 303. You know, he doesn't review this shit with me before we do it. He just, oh yeah, look, I wrote it for you. He wrote it for me. So there's 303 Audi dealerships, and out of those 303 Audi dealerships, there's 124-day market day supply of A8s.
Of 2020 A8s. Yep.
Okay, and there's 786 of them in inventory at the moment. Okay, and in the last 45 days, they've sold 285.
Now you're lying. Your favorite line is, I can't do the math. But I think that's less than one A8 per month per dealership.
It would be
45 days per dealership.
Yes, it would be. So you can see how if there's some dealership that I don't know has
Three in stock.
Three in stock, you know, because they want to make sure people have a choice. Well, the chances are that if they had three of them back in January, they probably still have one of those three left. And the scary thought is, well, there's a 2021 on its way.
Yeah.
So these turn in on the dealer's lots as the proverbial boat anchor.
Yep.
And I can tell you from experience.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were at that
Yeah.
dealership. So then the BMW 7 Series, I'll run through that, and then maybe you can do
Okay.
the S Class. So
I probably could.
on the 7 Series, we pulled numbers for both the 2020 and the 2021 model year.
Yes.
The 2021s have started to land in dealerships. So on the 2020, we've got a 47-day supply.
But how many
market day
dealerships
supply.
are there?
348 dealerships.
Wow, so there's more of those.
There's more BMW dealerships and there's shorter supply on the 2020s.
Yes.
It's juxtaposed, though, with a, 137-day supply on the 2021s. So as
Yes.
the 2021s have come in, they've only sold,
182.
yeah, and there's 554 on dealers' lots right now. Versus for the 2020s, they've sold 726 in the past 45 days, and they've got 751.
The good
on their
news for
lots.
the dealers
Yeah.
is that interest rates are at historically low, and so that the carrying costs of this $100,000 boat anchor isn't quite as bad as it might have been, you know, just a year ago.
Well, but compare the 2020s, you know, to the A8 and the 7 Series. The BMW 7 Series moves relatively quickly compared to
Yes.
the A8. And,
Yes.
and I think, so it's less of a boat anchor. At the A8, at the Audi dealership, the A8 is an anchor. At the Mercedes,
we had one when I was there. I don't know. It was 400 and some days old.
yeah.
In
No,
inventory.
they're anchors. They're anchors.
Yeah, and we were thrilled when another dealer called, and they weren't local, and they said, "Geez, we need that car," and we said, "Would you like us to pay for the shipping?"
You DX'd it.
Yeah, of course we did. We sold it to them outright. We did not really pay for the shipping, but we did sell it to them outright. Yeah, we had such a party when we waved goodbye to the trailer. Yeah, yippee!
You're funny, man.
Yeah, well, sometimes you don't give a shit who you sell a car to.
All right. So we had 303 Audi dealerships, and we had, 786 that were on lots right
Yes.
now, and 285 that have been sold in
Yes.
the past 45 days.
Yes.
We got 348 BMW dealerships, and we've got 751 that have been sold so far.
Yes.
That are on lots right now, and 726 that have been sold in
Yes.
the past 45 days.
Yes.
Now, the Mercedes S-Class is kind of the standout here amongst all three.
You think?
Definitely.
Well, just so you know, there's 383 shopping opportunities for you because there's 383 Mercedes Benz dealerships presently in the United States. The market day supply is just a mere 108 days,
Which is high, but then,
not terrible.
And then when you put it into perspective of what
Yeah.
you're about to share,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
There's 4,723 of these presently in inventory, which, God, that just seems like a ton.
That seems like a ton.
Okay, but in the last 45 days, they've actually sold 1,974 of them. So they really move many more S-Class Mercedes-Benz.
You're moving 5 Mercedes-Benz every 45 days per dealership versus 0.78, 7.8, whatever it is for an Audi A8.
Yeah.
You're moving more S-Classes.
Yeah, I mean, the S-Class is of the German ultra-luxury cars, the S-Class is the car that seems to be the people's choice.
Yeah, and so in terms of negotiability, you probably have the best chance of negotiating a deal on the A8.
That the A8 for sure.
The
yeah,
A8.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
I think it's
yeah.
to me it's.
I think you could go into an Audi dealership and you could start. You could say, "Hello, I'm interested in one of your A8s. I'd like to see the invoice, and I'm prepared to offer you substantially less than that." And they'll probably go, "Come this way, yeah, right over here, yeah." I'm pretty sure.
Just keyword is substantially.
Oh, yes.
Substantially.
We're going to be well below. well below.
All right.
invoice.
So in terms of negotiability, A8's your best chance.
And just so you know, there could be as much as, I don't know, $8,000 in dealer cash on one of those cars.
Yeah, no,
from the manufacturer. To help the dealer unload it.
And we've talked about in other videos, the markup on luxury vehicles is considerable.
Yeah,
So
but
but we're not saying how much. We're just saying in terms of how likely to negotiate.
Yeah.
A8.
yes, absolutely.
All right, let's talk briefly about safety. Neither of us have driven any of these cars. In terms of features and components that they all have all the same stuff.
I would tell you that when Audi came out with the new A8 a couple years ago,
it was like 19 was the first model year where they were like,
I think so.
Look how
yes, and they were so proud of all the technology that they had built into the car as to how autonomous it could be, and just all the various safety features that were built into the car.
I think if it got hit from the side, it would like lift up or something like that. They put everything in it.
Probably do stand up. Every one of these cars has the best safety features available that are known to these manufacturers at this particular point in time. Doesn't mean that they're not continuing to work on making them even safer, but these top of the line cars will have all the top of the line safety features, and I'm pretty sure most of them are standard.
Definitely. Yeah, so another push, safety, they're all going to be incredibly
Yes.
safe. So let's wrap up with reliability, which we get from our good friends at Consumer Reports, not
Yes.
Scotty Kilmer, although similar maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
So in terms of reliability,
And this is predicted reliability based
based
on
off.
past history with these cars.
so Consumer Reports rates the Audi A8 a 1
Out of 5, yeah. So, if
That's not good.
if you're thinking that you'd like to drive an A8 on a daily basis, my suggestion would be is you're going to need 2 or 3 of them, because 1 or 2 of them will be in the shop at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's unfortunate.
Yes, it is.
Mercedes Benz they had at
2 out of 5.
we're getting better.
We are, and at the top of the heap, at a 3 out of 5.
A whopping 3 out of 5.
Whopping 3 out of 5 is the BMW 7 Series. Now, I will tell you that the moment, and when I say the moment, I mean the exact moment that any one of these cars goes out of factory warranty either by mileage or time, that moment, something drastic will go wrong with any of these,
So
and you'll be spending your next several moments at the dealership waiting on a service loaner as they prepare to separate you from your money.
So they all come with 4-year, 50,000-mile warranties.
Yes.
Basic and powertrain. So maybe the overarching recommendation here, if you're interested in any of these cars, lease them.
Absolutely, and be done with them in 3 years.
Do it 3 years.
Yeah.
But it's our responsibility, Dad. This is
Yeah.
car versus car.
Versus car.
Was it car versus car versus?
Car.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
there's
makes
3
sense.
of them.
There's
Yeah.
3 cars.
Yeah.
They're all cars.
Yeah, either that. Yeah.
Yeah, car.
Yeah.
It's our responsibility. Then. What is our pick? Which one would we pick?
Well,
I know which one I would pick.
I know which one I would pick too. And I
You
hate
like
to say
3, 2, 1, and we can.
No, well, I'll just tell you right up front. Because you either dream big or go home. Okay, so I'm going with the Benz, and the reason I'm going with the Benz is I want everybody to know that I have more money to waste than the average person.
And I'm going with the Benz as well.
Yeah.
But for different reasons.
Why?
Because
the performance.
The performance
Yeah,
aspect.
yeah.
I mean,
I don't give a shit about the performance. I want people to know that I can stroke that giant ass check to get that car back out of the shop. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
To get it back out of the shop.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they hold it hostage. I hate to tell you, Mr. Shefsky, but your S-Class has been kidnapped, and we'll let it go for, I don't know, $13,783.32. When can you be here? Yeah. Don't call the police.
Oh, man.
We're telling you, you call the police, we're going to burn the car.
Yeah, no, I mean, these are all aspirational cars, aspirational vehicles.
Yes.
And I mean, they're all, it'd be a thrill just to drive any of them. But yeah, there you go. In terms of negotiability, go for the A8.
Yeah.
In terms of you want to be, be like us, go for Mercedes.
Yeah.
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 And that's about that.
Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. I think the next time we do a car versus car, maybe we'll do cars that, I don't know, the average person could afford.
We'll see.
Maybe not. Maybe
not.
This whole thing is just, I don't know, nothing but aspiration.
I love that. Maybe the next one that we do is like Ferrari versus McLaren versus Lamborghini.
Or we
just
could do-
two guys sitting in a condo
yeah.
talking about which one.
Yeah,
they would
cars
do.
they would never drive.
Yeah. I would drive. Couldn't afford to drive.
Yeah. Or we could talk about G-Wagons. And,
Yeah.
the Galunka Junka wagon. And
The Galunka Junka wagon.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that's pretty much it for today.
That's it for today.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pops.
We might do this again tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be here tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
See you
Thanks
then.
for watching.